Do you ever find yourself overthinking stuff that's happened in the past, or perhaps even fretting about things that are in the future, things that even haven't happened yet? I know I do. Plenty of people do also. But what if I told you that there was a way to reframe this that will move you towards more peace, greater clarity, and actually a lot more happiness besides? So today in this video, I'm going to unpack some ideas from the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I'll put a link to it below, well worth the read. But I'm also going to illustrate these points with a few other sources as well, from the Buddha, Jesus, and also a friend's tattoo. But I want to start off by saying that all of these things, peace, clarity, happiness, can only ever come from one place, and that's right here, right now, in this moment. It's not at some point in the future. It's not something that hasn't happened yet. It's right here and now. Now, Eckhart Tolle's book is all about being in the moment and how you manage your thoughts and emotions in the moment. You see, he had a major breakdown, and then he had a major breakthrough as a result. And this enabled him to reframe all of the thoughts and emotions that keep coming up, ruminating over what happened in the past, trying to control what happens in the future. And unfortunately, if you're trying to constantly do this, you've got no time for right now. And as I said earlier, happiness is a now experience. It happens right now. So the more aware you are of the right now, the more happiness and joy you're going to be able to bring in your life. Now, I know this sounds simple, and fundamentally it is simple, but it isn't necessarily always easy, like many of these things. So I'm going to talk you through some things, several different things that can help you bring your mind into the now, to not fret about what happened in the past and not stress about what's going to be happening in the future. Now, first things first, let's just clarify something. You are not your thoughts. You know you can observe your thoughts. You can observe your inner monologue. And as men, we have a very clear inner monologue. Women, it's a little more subtle, but we all have it. And the more you can observe this, the more you can begin to assess whether these thoughts are actually helping or hindering. Are they keeping you stuck in an unhappy past, or are they fretting about what's yet to come? Either of those can be very, very negative, and to keep you stuck in a mindset that prevents you from being happy and having peace. You see, one of the central tenets of Buddhism is that not to have any attachments, not attachments to the past, attachments to the future, not even attachments to things that happen in the here and now. Just allowing your thoughts, allowing circumstances just to go by. That doesn't mean you don't react. It's just that you would just allow them to be without them really making an impact on your mind. You are taking an objective view and just observing. And this is what we're doing with our thoughts. We're not eliminating any of this. We're not saying we're going to forget all of our past, or we're not going to be mindful of the future, but just that we're going to allow it to be. We're just going to allow it to be. The trick is to allow the mind to do its thing, but not to get swept away by it. And that is where real mindfulness and real awareness starts. But here's the thing. Life doesn't happen in the past. Life isn't happening in the future. It's happening right now. And the key thing is what you do with the right now. Now, I want to share a tattoo that a friend of mine in the UK has on her arm. And it says, "All you have is time." Now, while I understand what Rachel is getting at here, I think there's a little bit more to this, because it's not just time, it's now. All you have is now. Because if you say just time in general, you can think, well, I've got tomorrow. Actually, maybe you don't. Plenty of people won't wake up tomorrow morning. So what you have is right now. And Rachel, I love that tattoo, and it really got me thinking, but I think there's more to it. All you have is now and what you do with it. And Jesus in the Bible even goes on to say in Matthew chapter 6 that, don't be fretting about tomorrow. Tomorrow has its cares. Be focused where you are today. Be mindful. Be in the moment. Be here now. And again, coming back to Buddhism, which it predates Christianity, is that the whole tenet is to just be present wherever you are. Be there, be aware, be conscious. Don't let your mind be taken over by what's happened in the past. I know some of it has been traumatic. I know it has in my life and for many others too. But the more you spend time with your mind here and now, the more joy, peace and happiness you can find. Now, I'm not suggesting that this is as simple as just flicking a switch and saying, right, I'm going to be in the now, because we all have hurts, we all have things which cause us pain, reflections which keep going over in our mind. And the mission with this is to become aware of where those things turn up and how they trigger us, how they make us feel in the moment. Tolle even goes on to say, when you see these, feel these, or when these things come up, you take a mental step back and just say to those emotions, say to those words, say to this inner monologue, I see you, I see you. Now here's the good thing about that, is you are then beginning to detach yourself from those words, from their relived experiences, etc., and taking a step back. You are becoming in the moment. Even if you don't do anything with it, just that observation of how it's turning up can be a massive shift in your mind, because suddenly you begin to detach yourself from what happened, detach yourself from what happened in the past, and also detach yourself from the fears and worries about the future. Now, the Buddha teaches us that clinging to this stuff and fretting about the future is a road to suffering. But the more you begin to observe, even if just in your own mind, that it's there, the less of a grip it will have on you, and the more then you can begin to live in the moment, slightly detached from what's happened in the past and slightly removed from the fret of the future. You can begin to break free from some of this stuff. You can take small steps towards saying, I see you, you are not me. That happened back then. And one of the biggest shifts you could make is just to begin to accept the present moment. Now, even if the present moment isn't pretty, just accept the present moment. Now, that doesn't mean becoming passive, it doesn't mean giving up, it doesn't mean just, doing nothing about your current situation. You're just surrendering to what's going on, surrendering mentally to what's going on, trying to mentally be objective rather than being wrapped up and swept up in it all. Now, the more you do this, the calmer you're going to be in many circumstances, which enables you to make better decisions. It enables you to respond more effectively. And not only that, it enables you to panic and stress a heck of a lot less. Overall, it's really good for you. Now, the Buddhists call this non-resistance or equanimity, just letting it be, trying to detach yourself emotionally from the situation. Now, the thing is, and this is something I've observed because I've been trying to practice this over the last couple of years, is that if you've got a lifetime of reaction, you've got a lifetime of all of this stuff coming up and just panicking or stressing or just going off on the moment, this isn't actually as easy as it looks. The logic of it is quite straightforward, but it isn't easy. It takes some practice. But the more you do it, you could start with something simple like a recurring memory that keeps coming up and just distance yourself from it, or you're stressing about what's going to happen. Again, be objective, I see you, taking that mental step back. The more you do this, the easier it becomes. And this is where the mindfulness, being present thing begins to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And this is how many practiced Buddhists can seem to just remain calm, remain neutral, no matter what's going on in their life, because they've learned to detach themselves from what's going on. They become distant, not denying what's going on, not becoming passive, not responding to what was going on, but they react less because they've enabled themselves just to be present, just to see what's going on, take that mental and emotional step back, and then tackle it in the most appropriate way. It's almost like they've overcome years and years and years of reaction and instant response and panic, and have gone into a quiet, calm, peaceful state no matter what's going on. So if something does happen, maybe take a couple of breaths and say, okay, this is what it is. I don't need to, neither can I fight it. May not be able to instantly change it, but that doesn't mean I need to get swept up with it. And as soon as you take a couple of deep breaths, take that mental step back, your brain can then start to actually work on how to figure things out, how to more effectively respond, because you've become slightly detached from the reaction and the circumstances that are going on. Remember, whatever happens out there is not you. The key thing is how you respond to it. And using this approach will enable you to better respond to it by being in the moment, by being present, trying to overcome the old reactions and the old way of thinking. And that moment of acceptance, that pause, that space, gives you power. It may not be able to control what's going on. Things happen. They happen to us all. But it gives you power to be able to respond properly, not from a position of stress, anger, reaction, response, frustration, but from a position of peace, calm and control of yourself. So what's the big lesson here? Well, the big lesson is that this happiness, peace, clarity and joy doesn't necessarily come from outside there. It comes from within, being in the moment. If you want peace, if you want happiness and joy, you've got to stop reliving, you've got to detach yourself from all of the stuff that happened to you in the past, the negative stuff. Keep hold of the good stuff and the things that made you happy and the things that you enjoyed. It also means then detaching yourself from the stuff that's happening or could happen, may happen, or you want to happen in the future. And that means that being right here, right now. Because ultimately, all you have is now. All you have is this moment and what you do with it. You can't control what's happening in the future, really. You certainly can't change what's happened in the past. It's all done and dusted. So the more effective you are at distancing yourself from this stuff there and this stuff there, the more you're going to be able to live in the moment. The more you're going to find peace, joy, and happiness in this moment right now. Happiness and joy and peace are now experiences. Be here and now. Now, I heard a phrase a few years ago in a seminar, and the speaker said, wherever you are, be there. And actually, that's good advice. Wherever you are, be there. Be in the room. Stop ruminating over what happened in the past. Distance yourself from that. Stop fretting about tomorrow. It has enough cares of its own, according to Jesus. So be there. Be in the room. Be where you are. If you're with your family and you're with your loved ones, be there. Be wholly there. Find that joy in that moment. And the more you begin to do this, the more you will find true happiness, true peace, and true joy. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still working on this. Could well be a lifetime study. But I begin to realize that the more I observe my thoughts and the hurts and the pains from the past, the less grip they have, because I'm able to just say, hang on a minute, I see you. I see you. Now bring myself into the present. And again, the future. There's plenty of things I want to achieve in my future, but that's then. And all I can do to affect that future is what's right in front of me now.